I'm Stacy, and I am one of the founders of FightSong.
I'm Casey, one of the salespeople for FightSong, and I'm here to help out too.
And I'm here today to talk to you about the Next Gen Anti-Bullying app and how it can help students empower themselves to take back their lives from bullies.
It's a great workflow management tool for counselors.
FightSong is that it helps facilitate students reporting, overcoming, and then being supported by administration and counselors within their school community. We like to focus on changing the culture and changing the student's perspective of reporting culture by proactively addressing the student conflicts before they evolve into incidences. This is done by allowing students a confidential and open space where they can share concerns, questions, or emotional things before they evolve into physical incidences or any kind of emotional distress. Then with that, you can support students better with the confidential communication platform. It also tracks everything so that you have really good data on all the student conversations and an archive of all the conversations that you've had. And it's really about teaching students to stand up, reach out, and how to nonviolently fight back against bullying. So the big thing is changing their perceptions is actually getting the students to engage. We do that by our entire program being designed for the students. It is designed to make them want to use it, and also they really like the actual transparency and getting back in touch with the counselors on their school property that they see every single day. And on the counselor side, what's really nice is that it streamlines it, and allows the counselors to continuously be in touch with these students that are using the platform. Also, we have many posters and materials for sale on our store website. It's at store.fightsong.com. And that is just a lot of stuff that is promoting the student empowerment side and a lot of artists showing their own experiences with bullying and how they overcame it. So the big thing is that we're wanting to create a support network within the school. We're not wanting to replace the additional tip lines and hotlines and outside resources, but we're adding an extra resource for students to be able to reach out in a way that's comfortable to them, which we have all found that students are much more likely to advocate for themselves and for emotional reasons through digital media. And that's where we're meeting them where they're most comfortable within the digital platform, but making it so that counselors have still all the data that they need and all the access to the students that they're able to actually help and support the student after an incident. So the big thing is learning to overcome the bullying and letting the students develop these good reporting habits and coaching SEL abilities, that's social emotional learning, and really helping them build character and tools to be able to carry further in life and have greater student success. So that's why I want to add FightSong to your toolbox. And so this demo is going to go over all the incident reporting types, how the customization works, and showing the back-end secure database and little counselor archive for you.
When a report goes into FightSong, a student knows that it is getting managed, handled, and looked at. They can see the status of the report, how far along it is in the process, and it really is a really important tool to add to the counselor's toolbox. Okay, so let's see. I will go through what it looks like when we get FightSong account set up. All right, so we're here on the FightSong website. And to get started, we'll scroll down to the free trial, be entering my name, my email, and our school, which is FightSong School. Okay, with my name, I'm in Boston. On my website,
And the
numbers.
numbers put in here are just estimates. It's really good used to give us an idea of what size of school we're working with. They can change at any time. It's also just how we base our pricing off of.
And when we're talking about buildings and locations, it's another item to clarify. So say that you're wanting to track if an incident occurs in a particular building or on a bus. That's what this is referring to. Okay. And of course, I want to sign up for our newsletter.
Mhm.
Great. So I've got my verification code on my phone, just came in. So one, easy enough. Okay, completing the registration process, got my country. I'm in Massachusetts. Okay, and
This is just the set password screen and you have to meet those minimums, but once you type it in twice, that password is going to be your password until you change it again. And if there's any issues with that, you can contact us at FightSong.com, and we are totally happy to help you through any issues that pop up throughout the trial sign-up system.
when we do a demo with you, we're happy to get all of this set up for you. So yeah, this is what it looks like when you get started. And there's an easy run through here. Even if we're not here to help guide you through the process, this little window is. So, yep, goes through setting up your profile. Let's see. Got my title, first, last name. Title will be Casey. Position, we'll say I'm a counselor. Got my email address. That's all saved.
And the display name is going to be the name that the students see. So if you're called like maybe Mrs. K or Mrs. S, you can put that on there or use whatever name that you want the students referring you to or they recognize you as.
Good thinking. We'll say Ms. K for me. And this is how you can change your password in the portal. And profile photo can be selected here.
And that's just so the students can obviously put a face to the name because they might know they see you every day in the lunchroom, but they might not necessarily know exactly what your name is.
Okay. We were talking about buildings a little bit ago. So buildings can be buses, specific facilities, and let's get started. So your next step is to invite who's going to be receiving reports. That's done here, and then you'll just put anyone receiving the reports. So for example, Stacy, you're going to be receiving reports for FightSong School. I hope that's all right.
Absolutely.
Great. So there's that. And counselors also receive reports.
Mhm. So with the administration, that could be your SRO, your principals, assistant principals, even a superintendent to oversee the whole system, while your counselors are going to be the people who are being in direct contact with your students. And the only difference is whether or not they can invite other members or change the system settings. Then, and within this portal is where you can change all of your settings, building settings, and actually set up your FightSong profile to gather analytics the way that you want to on the subjects that you actually want reported through this system.
We call those
Because you may
reasons.
have another system that you want to work for the violence or the police reports.
Correct. Yes, so we call those reasons. We actually recommend against using bullying as one of the reasons that students can attach to their reports because it's not particularly helpful. We do encourage things like social media as one category of the kind of bullying that you're wanting to track. Stacy, what are some other good ones?
Some of the good ones are going to be like gossiping, or if it's more rumor starting, that is another common thing. And so really getting down to the details of what incidents you want to be looking at. So then under the manage locations, if we go there, that is going to be if you want to gather information on like, are they taking people to the restrooms? Is that a problem area? Are you having more issues in your lunchroom? Maybe there's a specific hallway that might need more adults patrolling through now and then. And this is where you could find out your trouble locations within your school. So once you have data on that, you can proactively change the environment and change those situations to make it less likely to happen in that area.
Okay.
And
Also, as part of the FightSong platform, schools can include any resources as per the curriculum that they're teaching. So that is done by selecting Add Resource. You can include the name of the resource, a description of it, and a link to it if it exists online. You can also upload a file for the resource that you're wanting to include.
mhm.
If there's a
And
particular reporting form, for example, that you're wanting to include, it's a great place to put it. Links to helplines, links to tip lines, links to other websites that you may be using, your school website, for example. These are all good ideas to include.
mhm.
But
And another thing is I've had a lot of questions on what do you do to mitigate false reporting? Or are we going to be over inundated by a bunch of responses sent in to us and not be able to handle the actual workflow that comes associated with this platform? And we actually are extremely proactive about that because I was once a victim of false reporting and retaliation reporting. So here on the screen, you can see it's blank because this is a demo, but under here is where all the connections from every single person using your FightSong account. So you could see all the students attached to it and be able to discontinue their use and send them a message letting them know that they have been abusing the system and actually suspend privileges for small amounts of time, because we understand this is just a tool to facilitate the ease of access, and so therefore it is a privilege. Let's go to the manage um, organization users. So here you can see the invitation that was sent to me, and you're actually able to see that I haven't verified it yet. So if you have a teacher who is, or a counselor who is unable to access that email and you need to resend it for some reason, the best thing to do is to go to the little trash bin, delete it, and then go back to the um, invite users and invite them again. That is the best way to resend the email to them.
So we just went through the process of signing up for a new account. Now we're going to look at an account that's had some student users so you can see what that looks like when reports have actually come in, a little bit of what analytics can look like, that sort of thing.
So here we have an example of our demo school, which is Coyville Public Schools. And this is under an administrator profile. So James Smith is the administrator we have for this one. And you can see the organization code, which is going to be your individualized code for your school. And when you receive this, you can actually, when you're signed up for the product, apply it to these kind of posters. And so the students, all they have to do to access the program is scan that QR code and type in that organization code, and they're automatically linked up, their profiles made, and they can start sending reports immediately. There's nothing else they have to do on their end, and it's all done automatically, which is really great. But so this is an example of the archive that you can see when students have sent in new reports, and these are reports in progress and even completed reports. Over here is the actual incident report itself, and you can tell that this is an anonymous report, or sorry, confidential report, because there's that number at top, but it is linked to the student's app ID. So you can always tell what student's device was used to send this report. And if there had been multiple reports, you could see a trend in that user's activity. And so you could tell if they're having lots of issues, or maybe they're a really big upstander advocating for other students. But also there's an optional geolocation, so you can see if it's a emergency where you need to respond immediately, you do have that student's location of where they were when they sent it, or if there's a fight occurring, then you can respond to that immediately. Also, this is where you would have the student conversation. So every single report sent in has a message and chat box that's opened up with it, and that stays open no matter the status of the report, so counselors can constantly check back in and still have an archive of all of their check-ins and conversations with that student. And this is where you would see their multiple reports and if they had other types of incidents occurring. And this is an example of what we were talking about earlier with managing the users and the connections. So if you had someone who's causing an issue by sending in a lot of gibberish reports, you could actually just click this little toggle and toggle it off and send the student a message letting them know why that you have done this. And once that you think the student may be responsible enough to not abuse the system, you can just go ahead and toggle it back on so it's not permanent, and it's an easier method to filter out the false reports. And after about the first week of using the product, we've had a reduction in the false reporting by at least 30%, which is amazing. And that was with one of our pilot schools in the past year. And then this athletic bus is showing the example of if you had different locations in your school, or different buildings in your school, you could see the different areas that things are occurring. Maybe you've only had a couple incidences on your bus and more at the school, or usually it's vice versa. This is demo. And then An example of the analytics that you can receive with your reports, all of this is automatically updated with every single report that's sent in. So you're able to see a breakdown of your percentages of each incident type. You can also see a breakdown of location, reporter type, um, what they're using to report even, and the incidences being reported. Any kind of breakdown that you can think of is done for you in a nice visual method. This one is a really great chart when you have a lot of day-to-day data going into it. You can see problem timeframes if you're having issues during testing periods or if you're having issues during lunch, or maybe you have a really late lunch that some students just get really cranky during. There has been studies that show really high uptick in incidences during these periods. So along with our message and our branding image, we have not only the merchandise, but we have a blog that is our outreach and resources where we post a lot of things about the social emotional side of bullying, overcoming it, and really a lot of good information for counselors, administrators, and students to get to know the complicated and murky idea of what is bullying in schools. And also within this, we have our Fight Song heroes, and they're actually characters that are developed off of a lot of the Fight Song staff and some of our friends. And it shows a lot of empowerment through app usage and students standing up for themselves and taking back their lives from bullying.
The heroes are amazing. They were developed by an artist named John Barry in Kansas City, Missouri, and he's great. Every character is very complicated, and through the Fight Song universe, there's John. Through the Fight Song universe, there's stories of how each student has reported using Fight Song and has had Fight Song used reported on them. Our goal in having these complicated characters is to show that there are no students that are just bullies and no students that are just victims.
And then we also have our store, which is available for, even if you don't buy the platform, you can still buy materials to promote the idea of taking back your life and changing the culture. And it's just at store.fightsong.com. And here we have a lot of our engagement posters, our merchandise, and topical campaigns where we explored the different artists' identity and their struggles and ideas of what overcoming adversity is.
Let's see, now would be a good time for me to look at my FAQ list. So let's see, when we, as Fight Song, visit the school, are we available to assist staff in the setup process, or how does the setup process usually work?
Absolutely. If the school wants us to come on site and do a training and staff orientation along with the student rollout, we are absolutely loving to do that because we really like to share the message of exactly what we want to promote with it. But we also do offer online demos and walkthroughs and 24-hour support through our contact us. We really do offer a lot of support when it comes to using the program because we really want it to help the students.
So we do student demonstrations, student assemblies, as well as teacher trainings. Is that right?
Yes, we do. They are not exactly the full assemblies. They're more of the student rollout, getting them familiar with the device, and also handing out a lot of little merchandise that we have that promotes our message and the characters associated with our branding image. Mhm.
Who pays for the platform? How is the pricing work? What is pricing like for this platform?
Pricing starts at $280 a year. and that's for 2 counselors running the back end of the program. And those would be counselors at your school or a trusted teacher, an SRO, principal, or administrator. And then for every additional person that you want running the back end, it's $120. And then after that, it's free for all the students to be able to download. And it, the people who pay for it is most likely going to be the school or taken out of the bully advocacy funds or ed tech funds. But we don't prefer anyone. We want this product to be put into every school, and anyone who wants to pay the low cost for it to get into school, PTOs, counselor groups, we absolutely advocate for that because it really is such a low cost tool that it can be implemented easily and just depends on how your school wants to put it into your organization.
We even have one student club that is
Mhm.
using it as a student advocacy group because, again, we're looking at $280 to start. Uh,
Mhm.
and we do offer free semesters to schools that qualify. Be sure to inquire about that. Uh, One of our FAQs is will counselors and administrators be expected to respond at all hours?
Absolutely not. This is not an emergency platform or an emergency tip line. We're not trying to replace that at all because we want to develop kids' ideas of who's available to talk to when you say talk to an adult. But also they need to know the difference between reaching out for help and assistance and support and reaching out to police in case of emergencies. So this is not a 24-hour line. You can set your own office hours. And so if a student messages you when you're offline, they receive a push message back saying that you'll be that you're available the next morning and you'll be able to look over their message when you're online. And that way the student can send off the message when they're still feeling like they can reach out at that moment, but they don't feel pressured to have that conversation and they know that you're going to reach back to them and so they don't feel as alone.
Is reporting anonymous?
It is not exactly anonymous because we have found that students do not trust anonymous tip lines as much with the emotional issues or things before incidences. So it is just a confidential line so they can be secure in the fact that they're not providing their name, but you as a counselor still have the means to find out who that student is and have an access back to that student because that is the support that's lacking a lot from the anonymous tip lines is the communication back supporting the student after an incident.
So we're able to figure out who any student is that's using the tip line if needed, but there is the appearance of confidentiality.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see. Uh, so insofar as the age ranges that we serve, uh, we can provide this platform to any school that allows technology use in the classroom. If you have a one-to-one elementary school, the FightSong can be put on Chromebooks very easily. It was built to be able to do that. Also offer to middle school and high school. Students can put the FightSong app on their phones free of charge to them. Uh,
Mhm.
and it can also go on any tablet or Chromebook or laptops that the school has or that the student has.
Absolutely.
So yes, age ranges is any age with access to technology. Was this platform developed with teachers, principals, and counselors?
Yes. When we developed this platform, it was Actually, based off an idea presented by an administrator who was not receiving enough information from their tip lines and not able to build the relationships with their students with their methods available. And so we actually had two groups of administrator counselors, and then we also had a group of students because we wanted to address both sides of the app. And so the student advisory board helped us decide on what design we wanted, how to word things, and avoid using words like perpetrator or making it feel too sterile for them to actually connect with the app itself. And then with the counselor side, we made sure that we are gathering the information they need. We are providing the actual access to students and where they could have a conversation and let the counselors be able to perform their counseling techniques to the best of their ability while still having the reporting and recording that they need.
In my opinion, the most powerful thing about FightSong is its ability to improve the student and school counselor ratio. Even best case, we're looking at one counselor to 250 students. It is very challenging to effectively support 250 students by that one counselor. Using a platform like FightSong allows students to communicate more effectively and allows students and allows counselors to be able to respond as efficiently and effectively as possible. If anyone watching this has any questions, we'll put our contact information up here. Uh, at this time, there will be text on screen. Uh,
Please don't hesitate to reach out. We absolutely love answering any questions. And if you want to schedule a time to chat with us or even just send us some messages, we would love to respond.
Yes,
Thank you.
and if you're more comfortable too, we do have a US-based phone number that goes directly to us. And then we'll put the phone number up. And yeah, okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you.